Plenty of you watched my recent video on how to make 300,000 credits an hour in nothing but a starter ship. Thank you for that. But a handful of you wanted a more in-depth guide on how to gear up, how to get ready, and then how to do the mission itself. So that's what this is. This is the first part where I show you how to gear up and get ready. If you're looking for the second part, which is the full mission run through, how to make the most out of it, what to look out for, you can find that here once it's up. In this first part, we're going to show you how to gear up, whether you're a brand new player or you're just getting into bunker missions. Make sure you have the armor, guns, and equipment you need to make the most out of that mission, and spending your starting credits wisely while setting yourself up to make many, many more. So let's get into it. So loaded in the game, I'm at Port Tressler, and we're going to start with a couple notes right here. I'm going to check my missions real quick. So we hit F2 for map, click on contracts, and now if we go to mercenary, we're going to see we have illegal monitors, remove illegal occupants, border action in progress, which is the 890 jump mission. Port Tressler is above Microtech. In the last video, I did mention I've tested this the most, and I think your best bet is to do it either around Crusader or ArcCorp, and this is why. So here's a defend occupants mission. That's our normal bunker mission. Called it a 10K bunker mission because that's the intro reward for those. We're not going to run through that mission right now since it is very simple, and the basics of that mission will get covered when we do the confidential materials mission. But as you can see, no confidential materials missions here. We're going to test something else while we do this. I'm going to accept call to arms. Something a lot of you pointed out was that the text on here says, please note, criminals encountered as part of paid contract work do not qualify for the reward. I also noticed this at the start of 3.24. I think that it is still rewarding you sometimes. I looked at my distribution center footage from the last video, and it seemed that the reward was either delayed or was only counting for certain enemies killed. Is that still the case, and is it the case across the board? We're gonna try to figure that out here. So again, go ahead and accept call to arms. There's no negative to accepting it. You don't get, if you die when you have call to arms accepted, you don't lose any rep, anything like that. To my knowledge, I guess I should say. I'm going to double check this. So we still just have defend occupants. All right, so I won't include my traveling here, but we're going to jump to Crusader. That was a fast elevator. I'm going to clean up because we're respectful in this house. This isn't even my home station. I don't know why I'm doing this. All right, get me off this station.
Buy something or get out.
Buy something or get out. That's aggressive. I was going to say I might just grab my gear from this station and take it with me, but we're going to go ahead and gear up when we get to Seraphim so I can show you all that. That'll be the beginner's part of this video. As you can see, Origin 100i still has a landing glitch. It's like there's a extra something causing clipping outside on the outer edge of the body. I just try to get in it and lift off as fast as possible. So as you can see, there's plenty of missions to do around Microtech, but specifically for these confidential materials missions, like I said, tested it the most on Crusader and ArcCorp, and I didn't see any of those Copian hunting missions on Microtech, but that was part of what I mentioned before, that there are just more in different mission types possibly taking up the board on Hurston and Microtech. Or too many of you have already watched the video, and now all of these missions are getting grabbed up as soon as they pop up on the contracts, which is both good and bad for me, I guess. Now we're gonna make our way to Crusader. We have enough fuel, and we're gonna go to Seraphim Station to do our gearing up. Never gets old. I don't want to get too deep into all kinds of beginner suggestions and tips. I think that would be best for a separate video. We're going to keep this about the confidential materials mission, and all of the beginning tips and stuff will just be how to get prepared for that. I love the ones where you rip through the upper atmosphere of Crusader. All right, there's Seraphim Station above Crusader. This is how I like to land. I like to do this before I forget. Go ahead and refuel. Well, since we're at a station, I'll store the ship. See, you could see that there was no repair option currently. So this jittering for the 100i looks scary, but it doesn't seem to be doing any major damage to the ship. But I still hope they fix it quick. Soon, TM. Just dancing. It's landing dance. The major issue that could come out of that is that it like cancels the landing state, so the game doesn't think that the ship is actually landed, so you could lose the ability to either store like I just did, or all of the landing things like refueling and repairing. Haven't noticed that yet, but that would be the main issue I could see come out of that. All right, so now we're at Seraphim Station. This is the one thing I'm going to say about this guide, is that you have to be able to get from the planet to the station. That's in the tutorial, but it's also something you should just be able to do. I don't trust you enough to do the rest of this if you can't handle that. So you have to get yourself to the station. I'm not going to show you how to do that. It really is just calling your ship, getting in your ship, taking off, going to the station, landing at the station. I did just show you landing at the station, so I'm halfway there. So if you can do that, you can do the rest of this guide. Let's show you how to gear up on the space station itself. So to confirm call to arms later, we're going to double check / screenshot our credits just so we know exactly where they're at. If you have any loot, it'll be, you can access it from the storage terminal in the hangar. Any of the other ones dotted around. I was just going to see what I had. I clean up my home stations. What can I say? Okay, so I don't have any weapons here anyway, and I didn't bring anything with me. So I need the gear anyway. I'm going to gear for this the exact way I say to do in the video, just to show I believe in my process and my FPS skills. All right, so regardless of what station you're in or landing zone like major city, when you hit F2 now, there is local area map. So here gives you a decent idea of the layout. Or if you want to check out the areas you're not in, you can change the zone above. So if you are having a hard time finding anything, even with all the signage around, you can use the map. It is one thing about Star Citizen and another space game, Starfield, because I played Star Citizen first, the signage and everything is very realistic. I never, although I will say, right here, there's no guide to medical or HABs. That's not great signage. I mean, there's an elevator. Yeah, so on this level, I guess the signage isn't that great. I think it's better in the cities. There's medical. It's different on every station. So every observation deck has your medical. There's usually a little pizza shop, hot dog shop, where you can buy drinks, simple food, few storage access, got your elevators, and then easy hab. Like I said, every station's a little bit different, but they all do have the same general layout. They have the same general things on whatever level you're on. So observation is always habs and medical. Galleria is always your shops and your food court. And cargo is always cargo. So first we're going to go to Galleria, and every station has this same elevator. That's how the screen will look. So here, Kasaba is the clothing store. Here at Seraphim, we go to the right. This icon is ship armory. Live fire is your weapons. If we look at the map again real quick, here you can see this is the elevators we came out of. And if you zoom in, live fire weapons, ship weapons, Kasaba outlet, clothing, armor shop over here. Since we came to guns first, here is our P4AR Shadow, Desert Shadow. Is there another cheaper P4AR? So we wanted to buy the P4AR, hold F. So you can buy ammo at the armor shop. I can't remember the last time I came to live fire. Can't remember the last time I bought a gun. It's probably at the very start of 3.24. So I wanted to see what they have. You don't need any of this starting out. Like I say in the other video, you are going to be looting all of this. For our first time since we started at live fire, we're gonna go ahead and buy our ammo for our P4 right here. So P4 AR magazine, we're gonna buy 4. So if you click buy, you can always quick buy in these menus that just instantly takes the credits out, puts the item in your storage. If you click on buy, you can change the amount that you're buying. So we're going to buy 4, so that's only 48 UEC, 4,369 plus 48, we're just over 4,400. So again, if you have those 20K starting credits. So the armor shop usually has a little shield on it. You go in here, hit these terminals. You can browse the mannequins if you want, but it's gonna be easier to just hop in here, click on armor. We're going to just go with the standard undersuit. There's not always better options at the armor shop anyway. All categories, we're gonna go, we'll start with torso. So this is the first thing. We want heavy. If you click, single click, here it shows you the name of the armor, the armor type. This one's medium. Damage reduction, carrying capacity. That's how many items you can fit in the armor storage. And then there's the temperature rating. That's the temperature range it protects you from. So we don't want medium, so ADP. So the heavy armor has a greater damage reduction. You can carry more with it, and it has a greater temperature rating than medium. It's basically how they all scale. And which armor you have on depends on which backpack you can carry. Beginning player just coming in, I'd say cheapest option. With the ADP, you have some color options, so you can pick there. But looking at 5.6K. So then if we click buy also gives you the actual price, not the rounded price of an item. Thought that was grayed out for a sec. So you can also buy multiple pieces of armor if you like. So 5693, basically 5700. See, that's interesting too, that rounded this says 5.6K, but it's more like 5.7K. 5.7 plus 44614. So we're at like 10,100 credits with that. We go armor helmets. Baylor is the one I picked. Sometimes is there not an ADP helmet? Sometimes the helmets are named to match whatever the armor is. Crusader Security also wears a Baylor helmet. So you're able to loot a lot of those, and they do sell for a decent amount. I give some examples of helmets and guns to loot in the other video. We'll touch on that when we're in the bunker. So we'll go ahead and buy a Baylor HGH helmet, white. We'll click on buy to see what the actual price is. Basically 5,300. So now we're at 15,400 UEC. Going with the heavy armor, which I think is the best option because it will protect you, especially if you're maybe not the best FPS player. It is also the most expensive, but especially doing a defense site mission first, where you just have to go kill 15 pirates, being able to loot all that. You're gonna make whatever money you spend here on getting set up back in one go, for sure. To go along with our heavy armor, heavy helmet, we want a heavy backpack because it's gonna allow us to loot the most. Heavy is always around 100, at least 100,000 SCU, or SKU. Wait, when it's a UPC, is it SKU or SKU? Let's say SKU. This is a medium backpack, more around 70,000. I think this might be a light, yeah. Light is around 50K. And as you can see, the prices all vary there. Although this is a medium backpack for 2K, the heavy backpack is only 200,000 more. So it's pick your color of camo. I like the little pop of color here. Click on buy, so that's about 2,400 UEC. So all in, what would I say, like 17.5? If you're coming in with 20,000 credits, you are spending most of those on getting set up with this initial armor set. This is why you hear people complain, you know, they went and got all set up, probably bought too much armor and too much ammo and too many guns, but bought all that, got set up, went to a bunker, died. So we want to prevent that. As you can see, my character not wearing anything. All that stuff has gone to our storage when we buy it. Before we put all that on though, we're going to go down to cargo. Again, back in the elevator, cargo center. Every station has these. I should say every major station. Some of those stations at Lagrange points, there might be, maybe they don't sell ship guns. Maybe they don't have a clothing store. I can't confirm on all of those. I think most stations have most things, but we're talking about major stations outside of planets for the purpose of this. So we come down to cargo, everything on display. I remember somebody said that they bought the multi-tool, but if you look at this, that's a mining attachment. Oh, there's a tractor beam attachment. What was the other? There's another one. Sometimes the display doesn't have the tractor beam on it, but that's what we need. But to make this easier on ourselves, we're going to go to the cargo shop. So here, we're going to go to all categories. Going to go down to click on choose category to go to utility. The store all, one SKU, self-storage container. We only need one of these. So that's 2K. So now we really have, I'm pretty sure this is exactly what I bought when I started 324. So if you got 20K on you, you're going to be using most of it to get set up. To do this exactly as I've described. 2,100 credits, buy. Go to all categories, down to personal weapons, pyro multi-tool right at the top, quick buy, 480 credits, and then the true hold tractor beam attachment for 320, quick buy that as well. Every time you buy a pyro multi-tool, it will have nothing attached. When you loot them, sometimes they will have something attached, but it's almost never a tractor beam. It's never what you would want it to be. As a quick note, the cargo center is also where you buy, or you can at least be guaranteed to find, the max lift tractor beam, which I suggest for running cargo when you're going to start doing bigger orders. They do cost 19K, so save up some money first, but it makes cargo a lot easier when you're doing it without something like an Atlas or on-ship tractor beams, which I can't keep track of the status of all those. Did I buy the true hold? I can't remember, so I'm going to buy it again. So there we got our tractor beam attachment, and that is all we need from the cargo level. Also to note, cargo level always has ship rental. They are fairly cargo specific on the stations. There's a Freelancer, a Titan, a Cutlass Black. And these are all the one-day rental prices. Rental spots at major cities always have a wider selection. And again, this is the storage access. These are dotted all around the stations. And there we see I did buy 2 tractor beam attachments. So if you want to make sure that you got everything, containers, where your containers are, as you can see, I already had some here. Weapons, there's our gun, armor, there's our armor. So we're gonna go back to our hangar and gear up there. Hangars and habs. Before we go gear up and before we do anything else, so like I said, there's always a little pizza shop, hot dog shop somewhere on this level of this major space stations. You can get food, drink there. You can at least get drinks there. I'm not seeing any pizzas for sale. But something you should do as a new player is come to the medical clinic. This guy is still floating there. Come to the medical clinic, find the Olympus Principal Insurance. This is our respawn / regeneration terminal. It shows what your current regen station is. The Kelto RX clinic part is generic. If it is a city, it would show that. So as you can see, your primary residence is always an option. If I wanted to reset my respawn to Orison, I would do that. But we're going to transfer imprint to Seraphim station. And what that does is, or what that allows us to do is to get restarted or back out there quicker than if we were at a major landing zone on a planet. As you can see, going to the different levels of the space stations to gear up quicker, easier, less time consuming. You know, if you're running into bugs in the game, having problems, this makes it a little bit easier to get past those issues and get back out there. Other thing about medical units is the room 0 bug. That means you can't use this terminal. I always try to exit out, but that one we can't use. We can still check in on this one, thankfully. Sometimes it will be both of them, and you won't be able to use that medical center. We're gonna go ahead and check in real quick so I can show you this. Proceed to room 3. Exit out to try to prevent that bug. Fellow citizens, did it say O3? It said O3. You do have to go to your specific room, O3, when you're in medical, and then you can lay down in the bed. Look, watch my food and water down below. So just by laying on the bed, that regenerates and fills up. So it's filled up. However, eating and drinking prevents you, or at least slows down you getting thirsty and hungry. This will not do that. It just fills up your bar. And then of course, if I had any injuries, they'll show down on the corner, but you'd be able to see them here as well. If you have any injuries, it'll show which body part. You click those treatment options on the med bed to then fix those. So you can buy med pens. Every medical has a pharmacy with these terminals. You can buy med pens here. You can also buy them at every armor shop. We're gonna buy 400 UC piece. So now we're gonna go to our hangar and gear up. In the other video, I showed doing it at the weapon shop. Just so you have some when you go into the bunker. You want to at least have a couple on you. If you run into guys outside or, you know, things are hot as soon as you get down there, you want to make sure that you have some heals on you. Besides the medical bay screen being bugged out, this has been relatively bug-free, but I might do this is actually good. We got this one. I was just going to say I'm going to do a actual video about talking about common bugs and how to get around them. So right there, our hangar didn't show up on that elevator. We just swapped to another elevator, call it, and then scroll down. It's almost, for me, it's almost always on the second one. I have had to go to a third. I've had to go to the third one a few times, and I've had to go to a fourth one maybe once or twice. That's our beginner starter portion of how to go loot up on the space station. Now we're gonna get into how to gear up and what you want to take with you and how to get it on your ship. So this will still be a little newbie focus, but we go into our storage access. Filters might not be down, so you want to click on filters. This makes getting through your inventory a lot easier, especially once you start to really accumulate a lot of stuff. So if you just started and you bought your armor, you won't have anything else in here but what you bought. But we're going to put on, this is our ADB core we bought. We're going to swap out to our Baylor HCA's helmet. Anytime you're in inventory and you want to move around your character, you can right click. And then we have our Morozov backpack. Then we're going to go to weapons. We're going to grab our P4. So by default, I believe your 1 key weapon, as in number 1 on your keyboard, accesses the weapon on your right. And it actually shows right there, number 1. Number 2 is on the other side. You can always have 2 weapons holstered as well as a pistol. You can then sometimes carry a third heavy weapon, but that can also be buggy. Sometimes it'll want you to swap one of your equipped weapons. Then we go to utility. We grab our pyro multi-tool, and then we drag our tractor beam attachment to it. I think you can do that inside of your backpack as well, but from a storage terminal, that's the easiest way to do it, as far as I'm concerned. I actually forget this because it wasn't consistent when I first played. You can double-click stuff to equip it. I literally forget this all the time. We're gonna do it with, you can equip from storage. If I double-click, see the number went down, and then you physically see that magazine. I still usually drag it to my backpack and there, double click. I will double click ammo, but I don't double click armor and clothing. I don't know why. Sustenance, I didn't suggest it. As long as you hit medical before you leave, you'll be good on water and food for the length of this mission. So don't worry about that too much. Med pens are under utility. I thought they were under sustenance. Go to utility, grab our med pens. Well, I can only carry 2. Oh, med pens go on your leg armor. That's why. So we'll put the other 2 in our backpack. You do need to have them equipped so that you can use them. We're hearing somebody else's hangar right now, so that's still a thing. And then container, this is the slightly quicker way to do this. You can pull these out of storage access. There is a non-zero chance that you can lose it that way. I'm gonna do it right here just to show you how, but then I'm gonna show you how I suggest you do it. So all these containers say 0. Whatever percentage is here isn't always a guarantee. So to make sure you have an empty one, click this little arrow icon here. That one's empty. The way that you're not supposed to do this, you can take that storage container, drag it down to this hand icon down here. That is the drop icon. Exit and then back up, because it will knock you down. That was actually the cleanest this has ever gone. Where it spawns from seems almost entirely random. So then we pull out of our tractor beam with the 5 key by default, bring that box out, and we're gonna set that right there for a second. How you should bring your storage boxes up: come over to the freight manager, send it down, be patient. And then here is gonna be all of your inventory. Conveniently, these boxes are at the top. That might be new. Clicking it once selects it. So in that way, you could select multiple things. As a quick side note, if you want to bring up multiple small things like armor or guns or whatever, you can put them into one of these boxes, either at the storage terminal or in the freight manager. I think it might still be easier to do it at the storage terminal that we were just at. If you double click, it'll take you into whatever that container is. You can see that right here. And then if we click back to parent, that's the way you can check to make sure they're empty in the freight manager. You move that to elevator, raise the elevator, that arrow there. Did I not wait long enough? Nope, there it goes. I was like, oh, I exited the terminal and it just decided not to do it. And there's our storage box. So in the same way, you tractor that out of the freight elevator and over to your ship. But instead, we're gonna send this one back down. I know there's this move to warehouse button, but sending it down puts it back in your warehouse. Be patient, it'll show back up. So did we have 4? We'll get into this a little bit later, but sending things down the freight elevator doesn't always immediately show them in your inventory. We'll see how that's working later. You can also drag the storage container back into inventory. That is a really easy way to put it away as opposed to waiting for the freight manager. So that's okay. Don't take it out using the storage terminal. I have to go buy med pens. I forgot med pens. I'm gonna roll the dice on storage access again, see if we can get one to bug out or at least knock me down. See that, but that's why I back up, because they come straight out of the terminal. Immersion. They are going, my one prediction, I have a lot. I'm actually gonna do a whole prediction video for 2025, but my one prediction for Star Citizen is that you will not be able to take 1 SKU crates out of storage access containers like that for very long. If you want to do a check on all your gear real quick, press I to go into inventory. Again, you can right click to scan around your character just to get a visual confirmation. We got our gun, backpack, heavy armor, heavy helmet, 4 magazines, 2 med pens on our hip, 2 in our backpack, and our pyro multi-tool with tractor beam attachment. Gearing up like that is about 20,000. As near makes no difference because you're not gonna have enough left over to buy all this stuff again. But like I said, you're gonna get all that money back and enough loot. I said in the other video, and I would say the first thing you should do if you're a beginning player is take this gear and go do a defend site bunker mission. So all you're doing, you're just gonna kill some pirates. You're gonna have all of the loot crates in there. You might find some materials to loot, some gems and gem boxes, but then you're also gonna be able to loot whatever guns, armor, to get yourself set up and then go do more missions to really focus on making money. But that first defense site mission, I think, should definitely be for you. At least get some helmets, get some core armor. So we get our crate. So again, depending on your starter ship, you're gonna load this up different, but if you're in 100i, I push the crate in like that. I didn't open the door, we squeezed past it, and then right here, is it not letting me click it because of the box in the way? Open door. Should have done that first. Bring the crate over, make sure it's lined up. I let it sit on the floor so then you can just slide it in. Nice and easy. Put our tractor beam away, close the door, and now we're ready to go. I leave the door open because I'm pulling the box right back out as soon as we get to the mission. So now, if I'm really lucky, we have one of these missions to go do. Damn it. Sometimes it's called defense site, other times it's called provide backup. That is the basic bunker mission I was talking about. But again, it's for 10K. I think the name might change just depending on what planet you're on. All right, so we're gonna wait until one of these pops up, I guess. Oh, wow, that did not take long. All right, so here's the support security forces and secure confidential materials. I'm gonna accept it real quick to make sure we get it. A lot of times it'll track the most recent mission or contract accepted, but if it doesn't, you wanna make sure you go down here and click track. That will show the map marker on your HUD and your map when you go to look at it. And if it doesn't, that means it's bugged. most likely. Somebody brand new would have to confirm, but I do not believe that I did enough bunker missions to get enough to rep to rank up to finally see these secure confidential materials missions. The 25K one is the base one, and I am almost positive I just had that from the jump. Brand new player, starter ship, you can do this right away. And so it'll be interesting as well, because I think sometimes the loot is better on the higher tier ones. As far as the gems and stuff go, the loot is better on the higher tier ones, or you just get more of them. But we'll see what we get with the 25K. I'm glad this is the one that popped up. So now that you're all geared up, you're ready to run any bunker mission, especially the confidential material mission. They can make you 300,000 credits an hour in your starter ship. If you haven't already watched my video on how to make 300,000 credits an hour in your starter ship, you can check that out here and give you a run through of what we're preparing for here. If you want to check out my in-depth guide for that mission, it's right here, whether you want to hop into that right now or just save it for later. Feel free to catch me live on twitch.tv/theyngprince. I'm streaming Star Citizen, other survival crafting games, and fun events and challenges right now. Be sure to join us on the 22nd of December for a special Star Citizen stream celebrating Luminalia and the holiday season. And look out for it here on YouTube, because why make you go where you're not already? Keep your space stations clean, and I'll see you on the next one.